عليك سلوات
اللهم صل على محمد.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه وأعوذ به من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد والثناء لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. ثم الصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، لا سيما سيدي ومولاي بقية الله في الأراضين، روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم. Condolences to all of you on these nights as we approach the day of Ashura. On the nights where we come together to commemorate this shahadat, this spilling of the blood of the grandson of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa May Allah inshallah give us all the tawfiq to be able to understand the message of Abi Abdullah, the message of Ashura, and inshallah be able to incorporate that in our lives. With the barakat of salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So as was mentioned yesterday in our theme of Karbala and I, we talked about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of His blessings is the way He created us, that we are intrinsically made in a way, that we're innately made in a way with certain values, with certain principles that pull us towards that ultimate purpose that we're created for. And these values are values that we see manifested in Karbala, we see manifested in Ashura. What that means is that if I follow that fitrat of mine, if I follow that innate nature of mine, if I protect that fitrah of mine, it will take me towards that direction. As long as when it wakes me up, when this fitrah wakes me up, I don't turn away from it. But rather, I take it, I welcome with open arms, and I do what it pushes me towards. So this is what we talked about yesterday. The topic for today is Karbala, the fulfillment of the covenant. This is where the ahd that Hussein has with his Lord, this is where the pact, the covenant that Hussein has with his Lord is fulfilled. It reaches that place where, just like Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas is known and famous for his wafa to his brother, just like that, and even more, Hussein's wafa to his Rabb. And accordingly, of course, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas is alayhi salam, and all the other people who were there in Karbala. But Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam, being the commander, being the imam, being the leader, coming through with the ahd, with the covenant, with the pact that he has with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A lot of these messages, as we've said repeatedly, are actually mentioned in the Quran. I'll start with this Surah A'raf, Surah number 7, verse number 172. Where the Quran says, وَإِذْ أَخَذَ رَبُّكَ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ مِنْ ظُهُورِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّتَهُمْ وَأَشْهَدَهُمْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ. It says when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought Bani Adam. Bani Adam means all of us. All of us. Bani Adam, min dhuhurihim dhurriyatahum. That not just the ones that were there, everyone, min zuhuri means like anyone who was to come in the future generations as well, all of Bani Adam. Allah brings all these people. وَأَشْهَدَهُمْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ, and He made them, meaning us, bear witness. وَأَشْهَدَهُمْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ, and He asked all of us, أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ? Am I not your Rabb? These are verses of the Quran. Did I mention that? I did, right? Verse of the Quran. Surah A'raf, Surah number 7, verse number 172. Allah essentially called all of us, each and every one of us, the verse is saying, and asked you and I, أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ? Am I not your Lord? Am I not the one who manages your affairs? Am I not the Rabbul Alameen? Am I not the one who controls everything in your life? أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ? And what did we say? قَالُوا بَلَى. Yes, Allah, that is true. That is true. Do you remember this conversation with God? Because the Quran is saying you had this conversation with God. That's what the Quran is saying. Perhaps we don't remember it, but where this conversation is instilled is within our nature, within our understanding, within our inclination. The Quran is saying, أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ? قَالُوا بَلَى. Everyone said yes. شَهِدْنَا أَن تَقُولُوا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ إِنَّا كُنَّا عَنْ هَذَا غَافِلِينَ. This is where it gets really serious. And He says, because you bear witness that I am your Lord. And the verse continues, شَهِدْنَا أَن تَقُولُوا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. That because you bear witness, guess what? This is a pact we have. This is a deal we have. So don't you come on the day of judgment. أَن تَقُولُوا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Don't come on the day of judgment and say, إِنَّا كُنَّا عَنْ هَذَا غَافِلِينَ. That we did not know about this, Allah. See this? See this? This is what they call back to the future. The Quran is talking about the conversations that you and I will have with Allah. And if I pull these excuses that I'm used to pulling over here, right? I have to do this. No, it's too difficult. The place I live, my family, my work, my this, my that. I don't have time for this kind of stuff. I don't feel God. I don't see God. I don't understand God. How do I know this is even true? And so on and so forth. God forbid. Allah is saying that on the day of judgment, don't you dare come to me. Don't you dare come to me and say, Inna kunna an hadha ghafilin, that we were oblivious of this. No one came and told us about this. What is He going to say? It's in the Quran. What is He going to say? It's within you. You are the ones, the reality of yours, your reality, your haqiqat, came and told me, قَالُوا بَلَى. When I asked you, am I not your Lord? So understanding, brothers and sisters, that there is certain ahds. And this, if you want to look for it, this discussion will probably come under what they call, and you might have heard of this, the alam-e-zar. Right? Before we came to this world, we're having conversations. We're having conversations with God. And He's asking us, are you okay with this? Are we on the same page with regards to this? قَالُوا بَلَى. All of us said, yeah, we got this. We got this. And then we came to this world, to this glamour and glitter. Allah sent us with everything we needed. He sent us with the intellect. He sent us with the Quran. He sent us with the prophets. He sent us with the examples of Amir al-Mu'mineen, of Sayyida, of Hussein, of Hassan, and so on and so forth. Salamullah alayhim ajma'een. He gave us these examples to ensure that if I start leaning towards my innate nature, my fitrah, the ahd, the pact, the covenant that I have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that these things wake me up. The Karbala wakes me up. Okay, I wasn't there. Fine, that's okay if you weren't there. Come commemorate it for 10 days. Come commemorate for 2 months. Come commemorate it for 2 months and 8 days. But make sure that you understand the reality of Karbala. You understand that Hussein gave everything he gave for the message of the Quran. You understand that Allah had a deal with Hussein, and Hussein had a deal with Allah. And this is what Hussein came to fulfill. This is what Hussein came to fulfill. And you and I repeat these words every single day of our lives. It's just that we don't pay attention to it. It's just that we don't pay attention to it. Right? As the Quran says, that they have ears but they don't listen with it. They have eyes but they don't see with them. They have hearts and minds but they don't think with it. لَهُمْ أَفْئِدَةٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا. And then he says, if that is the case, if you people, with everything that I've given you, right? The Quran is talking to me. Not to someone in vacuum, me, right here, sitting in front of you. The Quran is talking to me. Listen, we gave you eyes. Can you see beyond what your eyes can see? What does it mean when Allah says, لَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا? They have eyes, but they don't see with it. They don't see with those eyes. They have ears, but they don't hear with those ears. That doesn't mean that the voice doesn't come into my ears. It means that I'm not able to process those things. I'm not able to pay heed. I'm not able to take a lesson. Just like we talked about before, the Quran is saying, إِنَّ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُم. That truly the mu'mineen are only the ones. If you want to know, if I want to know, if I'm a mu'min or not, the Quran is saying, if and only if, when Allah is mentioned and your hearts tremble in awe, then yes, you're a mu'min. وَإِذَا ذُكِرَ آيَاتُهُ وَإِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ زَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا. When the verses are read, when the verses of the Quran are read, when the signs are shown to them, their iman increases. This is what the Quran came for. This is why all these verses are in the Quran. This is why the ahadith and the Prophet and the Imams, everyone keeps pushing you and I towards the Quran. Please, I beg you, read the Quran. Please, I beg you, read the Quran. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنِ. The Quran is with a painful voice. The Quran is saying, do they not contemplate the Quran? And then another conversation from the future that I mentioned before as well. قال الرسول يا ربي إن قومي اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجورا. Oh Allah, this was my ummah, but they did not give importance to the Quran. They left the Quran. They left the Quran. All these principles, all these conversations, and there's so many cool conversations in the Quran that are going to happen in the future. A really important one is when I'm standing in front of Allah, when He's taking account of my actions, and Hazrat Iblis comes, and jumps into the conversation. When I'm trying to make excuses to Allah, just like I'm used to over here, but Allah, I didn't know, but Allah, I had to go to work, but Allah, I had to do this, but I had this, that's why I couldn't do this, that's why I couldn't pray, that's why I couldn't fast, that's why I couldn't come to the Majlis, that's why I couldn't pay my khums, that's why I couldn't pay my zakat, that's why I couldn't go for Hajj, that's why I couldn't, excuses after excuses. But there was shaitan who would always, pull me to the other side. Shaitan will be there. He will jump in. The Quran is quoting him, and he is going to tell you and I, he's going to tell Allah that no, this guy's lying. I had no control over him. You know this, Allah. I just called him towards it, and he's the one who came. He's the one who came. There was this alim. They say, as one of our good friends says, Inshallah, it's not a true story. He's sleeping. And in his dream, he sees Shaitan. And Shaitan's really tired. Really tired. Sweating after a long day of work. And he sees that the Shaitan is tired because he's pulling this huge chain with him. And he asks, what's going on, man? Tough day at work. And he says, yeah, there was this real moment guy. No matter what I tried, he was always at Idara. Always at Idara. But I had to use these chains to pull him away. Oof, it was tough. It was tough. So this alim gets really excited. He said, oh wow, interesting, is that how it works? And he's like, I spent 15 years in the Hawza. I'm something special. I'm the one who sits on the minbar. All the Zidara people, they sit on the floor. I'm the special one. Who are they? And he gets curious, and he's like, so I wonder, hey, Shaitan, if this is the size you use for a layman from Idara, what are you going to use for me? I speak at Idara. And he starts laughing. Shaitan starts laughing. He's like, ha, ha, ha. He's like, what happened? He's like, you're one of those that I just need to whistle and you come wagging your tail right behind me. I don't need a chain for you. I don't need a chain for you. So us understanding that these principles, these verses of the Quran that have been given to you and I are for what? So we can understand the realities of this world. It's the biggest weakness or the biggest place where shaitan takes advantage of you and I is ignorance. Is lack of knowledge. Is lack of knowledge. I'm going to say this, okay? It's okay. Let's see what happens afterwards. I am a black belt, by the way. Sometimes I wear the brown one, but usually I wear my black belt. Coming to the Majlis is beautiful. That is not enough to take a person out of ignorance. The Majalis are a beautiful place to learn, but some things. The Majalis can be a beautiful place to get inspiration, to go learn. If the Majlis is what I'm depending on to give me knowledge of Islam, it's not going to work, brothers. I'm so sorry to burst this bubble. So sorry. So sorry. And I'll tell you, I don't have the guts to say this in Urdu when the Urdu crowd comes in. So I'm going to try to run away before the Urdu crowd comes in. But this truly is how it is. And I've said this before, but I'll repeat it because of how important it is. Right? You go to school, you go to university, you get a degree, and so on. Have any of us ever gone to school without a book, without a pen, without a paper, and said, yeah, I got it. I got it. Has anyone gotten a degree without ever have taken a paper or a pencil or a book? I know the smart kids are, yeah, we take our tablets and, yeah, same thing. You get the point. And then on the other side now, have you ever seen anyone come to a majlis with a paper or a pen or a pencil? How's it going to work out? How's it going to work out? So the place where shaitan truly has a field day is when he sees a person who doesn't know any better. They might know the big things of Islam, but they don't know the intricate details. And sometimes we see this in our communities. We see this in society. That a person might be someone who's been going to majlis their entire life. They might even be, hosting the majlis. They might even be volunteering. They might even be, all of these things for the majlis. But you go look into their lives, even the simplest of ahkam, they don't know. Just kind of whatever was sort of instilled in them through, coincidence, either through a majlis or, their mom told them something or their dad. I'm not saying those things are not important. Those things are extremely important. But to be able to live in this world with all the difficulties, with our nafs ammara working against us, with shaitan working against us, even a person who has all the understanding is still a challenge after that, to be able to get ourselves to do what we're supposed to do. But if a person doesn't even know, doesn't even have the knowledge, doesn't even have the understanding, right? There's a lot of youth sitting here. How many of you, or even the people who are kind of a little beyond the youth, how many of us have ever had a class on aqaid, for example, on theology? I went to this one place and I asked this question, and they said, yes, I have. And then later they said, yeah, we had a 2-hour session at the masjid. 2 hours. 2 hours. At the very least, it requires at least 20 to 30 hours. Have any of us ever invested that in ourselves, in our deen? And I'm not saying no one has. I'm just wondering what the percentage is. And I expect to be just by coming to the majalis, that when the day comes, and the imam calls out, just all of a sudden, I'm just going to fall on the right side of the street. It's just going to happen. Is that what we've seen in history? Is that what we saw in Karbala? That people just kind of stumbled over a rock and ended up in Karbala? Is that how it happened? Was not every single one of those shuhada tried and tested at every single point during the journey and before that as well? What's so special about me? That I'm Najibut Tarafain? Yeah? Maulana, my mother's side and my father's side, both Sayyids. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now show me the hadith which says that because you're Najib al-Tarafan, you're going to walk through the gates. Where is it? Because if that was the criteria, half the imams won't make the cut. How sad. How sad. Right? Half the imams are not Najib al-Tarafan. That's what I think is the criteria. What are we stuck in? What are we talking about? Where is the Islam? And I'm fine with all of that. I really am. I truly am. If we want to cut a cake every year because of me being, Sayyid, or me being this, or me being that, or me being Najib al-Tarafan, or me being from, this community, and this is how we used to do it, and this is how we do matam, and it needs to be with 2 hands now, and now you start with 1 hand first, and then you do it. I'm okay with all of that. I swear I am. And I'd like to be a part of all of that. But just when it comes to understanding deen, just don't bring these conversations over there. Don't mix things up. So understanding that the Quran has told you and I what the expectations from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are. From the expectations that are there from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Surah Baqarah, Surah number 2, verse number 40. Ya Bani Israel, اذكروا نعمتي التي أنعمت عليكم. O Bani Israel, oh you beautiful Bani Israel. From back when? 1400 years ago. Same issue, different day. Ya Bani Israel, اذكروا نعمتي التي أنعمت عليكم. Oh Bani Israel. As you would say in Urdu, Insan ban jao. Oh Bani Israel. Remember the blessings that I've given you. Remember the blessings that I've given you. اذكروا نعمتي التي أنعمت عليكم. Now let me pause over here and ask you brothers a question. Is the Quran for the Bani Israel? Or is it for the mu'mineen? Who is it for, Ammar? Quran is for the Muslims? Yes. So is Allah trying to give Bani Israel a message? Or is He trying to give you and I a message? Which one is it? He's trying to give you and I a message. And He's trying to tell me and you that listen, this group of people, this is their past. The reason they're mal'oon is because of these actions of theirs. I gave them blessings, but they didn't appreciate them. I sent them prophets, they didn't listen to them. I sent them the best of the prophets, they didn't listen to them. They made excuse after excuse after excuse. Is this a message to Bani Israel or is this a message to you and I? This is the Quran for the Muslimin, brought by a prophet for you and I. What are some of the biggest ni'mats that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you and I? One is the ability to think, maybe, right? Intellect. Other than that, beyond that, that separates us from other humans as well. That is the blessing that separates us from other creation. What are the blessings that Allah has given you and I that separates us from other humans as well? Iman, Islam, Quran. So that's for all Muslims. What has He given you and I that He hasn't given some of the other Muslims either? The love of the Ahlul Bayt. The love of Amir al-Mu'mineen. The love of his family. The love of Hussein. Now, do you think if Allah were to look at my life today, would He tell me, O person, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, udhkuru ni'mati allati an'amtu alaykum. Would He be right to say that? That hey, don't lose track. Hussein spilled his blood in Karbala. So you don't fall asleep again, like the Muslims before him. Is Karbala not a blessing for you and I? Would I have an answer just between me and God? You and your God. You and your God. All of us, between us and our Lord. Can I stand in front of Allah and say, yes, I got it. The ni'mat you gave me, I'm making full use of that, how it deserves to be taken use of. But, so when you say, when I say alastu rabbukum and you say bala, that you actually live your life based on that. You live your life like He is the one who controls everything. If I don't have a job, He is the one. If I don't have enough money, He is the one. If I don't have spouse, He is the one. If I don't have children, He is the one. If I don't have taqwa, He is the one. If I don't have iman, He is the one. If I can't pray on time, He is the one. If I can't get up for fajr, He is the one. If I can't get up for namaz al-shab, He is the one. He is the one. He's the one who's going to help me. Alastu bi rabbikum. This is what this means. Am I not the one who controls everything in your life? Am I not your Rabb? قَالُوا بَلَى. So he says over here, وَأَوْفُوا بِعَهْدِي. Listen, make sure you do wafa to your ahd. Make sure you do wafa to the deal that you made with me, so أوفي بِعَهْدِكُمْ, so I can then do wafa, the ahd that I have made with you. And this in itself is worth talking about, I don't know how many nights. The promises that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made in the Quran to the mu'mineen. The promises that Allah has made to the mu'mineen in the Quran. It's amazing. It would give every single one of us so much energy, so much inspiration, as if nothing can take me down. Nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop me. Right? Imagine you're going to a meeting at work, right? And it's one of those meetings where it's a do or die kind of meeting. Right? Either you're able to make your case or you pack your bags. And someone comes and tells you, right? This is with, for example, middle management or whatever. And the CEO comes and tells you, listen, I'm on your side. I know you're right. And I'm going to come to the meeting as well. I'm not going to say a word, but if even it starts inclining towards, the meeting inclines towards going against you, I'm going to step in and I'm going to kick all of them out. Right? This is scenario A. Scenario B, where he's not there. Is there a different confidence that you walk into that meeting with? Of course there is. Of course there is. Because you know you have a guarantee. You know someone is guaranteeing your success. This is how the entire life is for you and I. Allah is telling you and I, no matter what happens, right? There might be a place where your mother leaves you. There might be a place where your father leaves you. There might be a place where your brother leaves you, where your sister leaves you, where your children leave you, where your neighbors leave you, where your family leave you, where your friends leave you. But I will always be there. And the only condition is that you do wafa to your ahd, and I'll be right there. All day, every day. Not only in this world, but when you're ready to leave this world, I'll be there. I will take you by the hand. I guarantee you, I'm going to take you. And I'm going to not only take you to the heaven, but I'm going to take you to that level where you're going to hang out and chill with Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. These are the promises that Allah has made to you and I in the Quran. But guess what? I'm 20 years old. I'm 30 years old. I'm 50 years old. I'm 70 years old. But I don't know what those promises are. Because because I don't have time for the Quran. And I say this to myself first and foremost. This is something I forgot to tell you guys. It's a secret, but it's kind of embarrassing, so now I don't always tell everyone. I'm very self-centered. Don't go tell everyone though. Very self-centered. Whatever I talk about usually from the minbar is what I want to hear myself. So all of you might be sitting and thinking that, everything he's talking about, we have that taken care of. So I'm sorry. I have a lot of problems. So I'm trying to resolve those for myself. So I apologize. Sorry if I'm wasting your time. But this is what the Quran is saying. Promise after promise. So over here, he's saying, Ya Bani Israel, uthkuru ni'mati allati an'amtu alaykum. Remember the ni'mats, remember the blessings that I gave you. Wa awfu bi'ahdi. You do wafa to your part of the deal. Ufi bi'ahdikum. I will do wafa from my part of the deal. Wa iyaya farhabun. And if you ever want to escape, come to me. Come to me. I will always be there. وَإِيَّايَ فَارْهَبُونَ. There's someone who came to Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. And he says, جُعِلْتُ فِدَاكَ يَا ابْنَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. May I be sacrificed over you. يَا ابْنَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. Allah in the Quran says, أُدْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Hey, pray to me. I'll answer you. I got your back. You back. Promise of the Quran, right? One of the promises. So luckily, the question that was popping in my mind, someone in Imam Sadiq's time also had the same question. That the Quran gave me a promise. Ud'uni, call out to me. Astajib lakum. I will answer for you. And then he says, فَإِنَّا نَدْعُو فَلَا يُسْتَجَابُ لَنَا. What kind of joke is this? Kya mazak hai ye? Right? You tell us, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, Quran padho, read the promises of Allah, it's beautiful. I read it, and this is the promise. And we pray to Allah. فَإِنَّا نَدْعُو فَلَا يُسْتَجَابُ لَنَا. We make du'as. Kitne saal se dua kar raha hu. Ya Allah, give me a bigger house in London. 20 saal ho gaye. Still hasn't been answered. What is this deen? What is this God? It hasn't happened. I've been praying to get married. I've been praying to have children. I've been praying to get a promotion. I've been praying that my boss dies. None of it's working out. All of these du'as I make. The Quran is promising me, make the du'a and I will answer to you. And then Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, he says, oh, you've read the Quran, huh? You've read the Quran? Guess what? I've read a little bit of it as well. The Imam is telling him, Ud'uni astajib lakum. Yes, that is in the Quran. But did you ever flip the page and read the next page? Or did you just pick wherever you wanted to try to make a point? أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْدِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْدِ. Do you just have iman on part of the book and you reject other parts of the book? Verse of the Quran. See, the Quran knows how we think. The Quran knows how we think. He says, لِأَنَّكُمْ لَا تَفُونَ لِلَّهِ بِأَحْدِهِ. Because you don't do, this is the answer of the Imam. To the person who's saying, I ask, he doesn't answer. And the Imam's answer is because you don't do wafa to your ahd. And guess what? If you actually flip the page and read it, it says, أَوْفُوا بِأَحْدِي أُوفِي بِأَحْدِكُمْ. Allah has given you all the blessings. Given you all the blessings, yes. But there's a very tiny catch in there. Every blessing that Allah has given us, right? If, for whatever reason, right? You feel like, what does this guy talk about? I don't understand what he's talking about. It's the 6th day, it's the 7th day. I don't know what he's talking about. Forget all of that. If you fell asleep or whatever it was, it's fine. Just remember this one line. This one line. Okay? لا تفونا لله بأحده. Allah every blessing that He gives you and I. And He's given more blessings than we can count. What does the Quran say again about this? وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تَحْصُوهَا. If you were to try to count the blessings of Allah, you won't be able to count them. Verse of the Quran. But the catch is this, and it's not really a catch. The catch is this, that every blessing that Allah has given you and I, He has an expectation in return. Every blessing you can imagine, He has an expectation in return. And that is for me to use that blessing to be able to achieve and pursue the purpose that I was created for, and nothing else. The ability to think, the ability to see, the ability to walk, the two hands, the parents, the izzat, the respect, the position, the fame, the influence, the money, the good looks, the good voice, the ability to speak, the ability to stay quiet, the ability to stand up, the ability, whatever it is, all these blessings. Some of us have some of them, others have others. But every single blessing that's been given to me, He will ask about that blessing. Remember, this was the only line you're supposed to remember, right? And then each and every one of us can go ahead and think about each blessing, one blessing at a time, and see if I were to, on the Day of Judgment, stand in front of Allah, can I answer these questions with comfort? Imagine, the elders don't have to do it, the young ones. Close your eyes. Everyone, close your eyes. Okay? Can you still hear me? You don't have to open your eyes to hear me. Can you still hear me? Yeah? Can you imagine that not just for these 30 seconds, but for the entire Majlis, that's how you would have to sit? Can you imagine that not just for the Majlis, but for the entire day, that's how you would have to sit? Can you imagine that not just for the day, but for the entire week, that's how you have to live your life, including everything, school, this, that, whatever. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that not for a week, but for an entire month, an entire year, you had to live like that? Right? Most of you couldn't even keep it closed for 30 seconds. Can you imagine living your entire life like that? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Now, the question for the elders. What did we do in life? What is this amazing accomplishment that you and I had, that Allah said, okay, Shabash, Chakam, let me bless you with 2 eyes in return for that? Tell me. If you did something, tell me, please. I've been blessed with 4 eyes, and I did something bad to be able to, deserve those. Did you do anything to deserve those? Are there not people in this world who don't have the 2 eyes that you have? Tell me, what special did we do? What was the special thing that we did to be able to deserve this? And we're just talking about 2 eyes. Now you can do the same thing with your arms. Now you can do the same thing with your nose. Now you can do the same thing with your ears. Now you can do the same thing with your sanity. To be able to think, to be able to understand, to be able to differentiate between right and wrong, to be able to walk, to be able to, and so on and so forth. What did I do to deserve this? So how can I come off? How can I come off saying that, no, it's fine. You know, if God gave me that, that's fine. That's His issue. I'm going to get on with life and I'm going to live life how I want to live it. That's not how it works. لا يمكن الفرار من حكومتك. Where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? It doesn't matter if I feel like, okay, I'm not going to come to the masjid, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there. I might be fooling myself, but no matter where I go, everything, all of existence is within the domain of Allah. لا يمكن الفرار من حكومتك. I can fool myself, but the reality of existence is that Allah is the one who controls everywhere I go. So I really don't have a choice. I really don't have a choice. Recite a salat, please. So understanding these acts, understanding these pacts, and when this gets to the pinnacle, right? This ahd that, what is this ahd that I have with Allah? That قَالُوا أَلَسْتُ بَرَبَّكُمْ قَالُوا بَلَى. Yes, you're my Rabb, therefore I will bow down to you, I will listen to you, I will do, you're my Rabb, you're my Ilah, I will worship you, everything is you. Everything is you, but just as long as I'm in my comfort zone, right? Don't push the limits, Allah. You know, it's not that safe where I live. You know, if I speak up a little bit, there might be issues for me. So just please, you know, respect the boundaries. But what is the Quran saying? What is the Quran saying? مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Out of the mu'mineen, yeah, some are like that, but مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ رِجَالٌ. There's some of the mu'mineen who are men. They're men. They're not excuse makers, they're men. من المؤمنين رجال صدقوا ما آحدوا الله عليه. That they came through with the ahd that they had with their Lord. They don't make excuses. They don't fall for the glamour and the glitter of the world. No, they're true in their ahd to Allah. من المؤمنين رجال صدقوا ما آحدوا الله عليه فمنهم من قضى نحبه ومنهم من ينتظر. Some of these people who are true in their ahd, their time has come. And they've given their lives in the way of Allah. And there's some, وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ, and there's some who are patiently or impatiently waiting for the time where they can show Allah that Allah, when it comes down to it, I will also be able to put everything on the line for you, because I told you, you are my Lord, you are my love, you are my everything. And especially this blessing that you gave me to be able to be a follower of Hussein, I'm going to take every single step that he took. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. There's a few verses, I'm running out of time, but quickly inshallah. Surah Baqarah, verse number 2, Surah number 2, verse number 27. الَّذِينَ يَنْقُضُونَ أَحْدَ اللَّهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مِيثَاقِهِ. And those who break the ahd with their Allah. They don't treat Him as their Rabb. They don't listen to Him. They don't abide by His rules. وَيَقْتَعُونَ مَا أَمَرَ اللَّهُ بِهِ. And they don't follow what Allah has commanded them to do. وَيَفْسُدُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. These are the people who are going to be in a complete loss. Who are the people who break that ahd with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And another one in Surah Ra'd, Surah number 13, verse number 25. Same thing, right? Those who break their ahd and so on and so forth. What happens to them? أُولَٰئِكَ هُمْ اللَّعْنَةُ وَلَهُمْ سُوءُ الدَّارِ. Allah sends la'an on them. La'an on them. Right? We're the people who love tabarra, right? We love tabarra, right? Guess what? Allah is going to be doing tabarra towards us. That's what it comes down to. And that is why Karbala and these days are a beautiful blessing for you and I, to be able to learn those lessons and renew that ahd with Allah, that yes, Allah, I can get my inspiration from Hussein. I get my inspiration from Karbala. And truly you will find me that no matter what it comes down to, I will put anything and everything on the line for you and your deen. Just like Hussein did. Just like Hussein did. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdillah. Sallallahu alayka ya Zaidi, wa ya Maulana Sallallahu alayk ya ayyuha. On the way to Karbala, there was a place where the caravan made a stop. Abi Abdullah fell asleep. He woke up reciting Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ali Akbar comes to Abi Abdullah, oh Baba, what happened? He said that I saw in my dream that there is a voice. The voice is saying that the caravan is moving and death is following that caravan. Ali Akbar, Ya Abata, alasna ala al-haq. Look at the ma'rifah of this Jawan. Look at the ma'rifah of this youth. He says, Ya Baba, are we not on the path of truth? And Hussein says, yes, yes, waladi, yes, ma Ali Akbar, we are. And then he says, إذا والله لا نبالي أوقعنا على الموت أو ما وقع الموت علينا. Oh Baba, then it doesn't matter when death comes and falls upon us or we fall upon death. What is the problem if we're on the path of haqq? There's a famous hadith where Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says that كلنا سفن النجاة ولكن سفينة جدي الحسين أوسع وأسرع. They say that the Imam says that all of us are arcs of salvation, but the arc of salvation of my grandfather Hussein is the most encompassing. Ayatollah Mar'ashi Najafi, it's narrated from him that people used to narrate that every time he used to go to this Safinat al-Najat, he wanted to go for the ziyarat of Abi Abdullah, he would always make a stop. He was always do ziyarat of Ali Akbar before he used to come to Hussein, before he used to come to Hussein. I wonder why he used to do that. Just like Hussein is dear to Allah, just like we go to Hussein to get to Allah. Perhaps he understood that one of the most dear things to Hussein is his son Ali Akbar. The day of Ashura comes. Until today, Hajjaj had been giving the azan, but now the day of Ashura, Hussein's voice is raised. Aina waladi Ali. Where is my son Ali? Perhaps Hussein wanted to listen to the azan of Ali Akbar one last time. He gave the azan. The Maqtal says that the battle started right after that. One by one, the ashab started going to the battlefield. Hussein picking up the shuhada, bringing them back. Every shaheed that was there, Hussein would be next to him until a time came that all the ashab were gone. All the ashab are gone. Now there's a buzz amongst the youth of Bani Hashim. فَجَعَلُوا يُوَدِّعُوا بَعْدُهُمْ بَعْدًا. They started doing their al-wida. They started doing their goodbye. They started meeting each other. The Maqtal says that the first person from Bani Hashim who came to the battlefield was Hussein's Ali Akbar. Was Hussein's Ali Akbar. The Maqtal says that when Ali Akbar came for permission to Hussein, Hussein did not hesitate. He was not sure when Qasim came. He was not sure when On and Muhammad came. What when Ali Akbar came? I still don't understand the wisdom behind this. Why Hussein gave him the permission right away. But the Maqtal says that as Ali Akbar started walking towards the battlefield, نظر إليه نظر آيس من. Hussein looked at Ali Akbar walking away with a look of despair, with a look of despair. Perhaps Hussein was saying, oh Ali Akbar, oh my dear son, walk a little slower so your father can see you one last time. Ali Akbar makes his way to the battlefield. The Maqtal says that he fought a fearless battle. He won a fierce battle. He walks a fierce battle. But for some reason, after a little bit, Ali Akbar comes back to the Khaymaga. Come back to the Khaymaga. This is the other place I don't understand the wisdom. Ali Akbar comes back to Hussein and he says, Ya Baba, oh Baba, the weight of this armor is killing me, is weighing me down. Oh Baba, the thirst is killing me. Ya Abata, can I just get one sip of water? I don't know why Ali Akbar came back. He knows there's no water. He knows Hussein doesn't have any water. Some of the narrations have said